If you have parked your car, the church parking lot, please move the car. We are not allowed to park in that premises. Okay. Now everybody, we are going to bring the puja from dining area to the hall. Everybody please form a line from dining area. Can you please move this side? No, this one. Please stand up and form the line so that everybody will join bringing the puja. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Puja and Iti so bhagava are samma sambuddho vidya charana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisadhamma sadhati sattva deva manusana O Bhagavani, Iti so Bhagavatam Samma Sambuddho Vidya Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisadhamma Sadhati Sattva Deva Manusana Iti so Bhagava Samma Sambuddho Vidya Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisadhamma Sadhati Sattva Deva Manusana Buddho Bhagavani Iti so Bhagavatam Samma Sambuddho Vidya Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisadhamma Sadhati Sattva Deva Manusana Buddho Bhagavani Iti so Bhagavatam Samma Sambuddho Vidya Charana Sampanno Sugato Please be seated. You have some methods over there. Arbeta Dhamma has methods. Or have you well? Tutak Negullo Usara in network but then Bismillah. Oh, you want a pillow? Take from there. There are. You don't want the pillow? No. I will. How about you? You can. You like it? Then we get out of class. Okay.
Hukum lain gimana?
When the monk is arriving in the world, you don't need to stand up. You can say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu to respect him. ඔක ගලවන්නකො ඒ ප්ලාස්ටික් එක. මේක ගෙන මේක. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. This is sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Good evening, everybody. Venerable Mahasangha and Bhutnis. When I say Mahasangha, Bhutnis also included. Dear devotees, it's a very, very fortunate day for everybody, including the Mahasangha here today. We see we gathering here to listen to this most precious Dhamma talk from Venerable Bambalapiti Jnanalotero. Some of you may already have heard this Dhamma talk, listened to this Dhamma talk via YouTube. And this is the second time that he has been to this temple. The second Dhamma talk is delivering today. When he came first time, I was not here, I was in Sri Lanka. But I have heard his Dhamma talk. I have been to many Dhamma talks from Bante. It's a very precious, it's a special to our Sasana. Very spiritual one, highly elevated mind, strength. That's why I said we are very fortunate. I think he delivers his Dhamma talk not only from the Buddha's teaching, but also from what he has experienced from his practice. That is the most important thing. It's very easy for somebody to give a Dhamma talk or speech, to say something that you know, not that what you have read, what you have seen. When you know something, it is very easy to tell others, right? Communicate with others. So, Venerable monk has been in forest many years. I think half of his lifetime maybe. I'm not found in Himalaya, not in Sri Lanka, but in Himalaya. Himalaya is the biggest mountain, deep mountain in India. So there are many sages, many hermits, many spiritual beings there. So he also lived there for many years in his life, practicing. And that is what he is going to share with you today, I assume. So we respectfully, on behalf of all the monks at the Buddha and our devotees, I very respectfully welcome Bante Bambalpiti Jnanalotero to deliver his Dhamma talk for our devotees. Sadhu, 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 sadhu.
First, my blessings to all of you. And my reverence to the Master, Dhamma Sambuddha. That's our only hope in this existence. And the Dhamma is teachings as well as, and it is Sangha, Arima Sangha, the noble Sangha, which practice purified. And my veneration to all the senior monks here. Also my brother monks and friends in the Dhamma. So it's a surprise all these tours for me because I thought I've been meeting few people here. I'm very happy that so many souls trying on this path. And it's kind of my second meeting. Can the people outside, can they hear? Cannot hear. You can't squeeze in here, right? You can sit where, some of you can sit the walking path, if you like, if you're not shy. Okay? You need 2 hours, please, okay? Try to be with me for 2 hours. If you can, some of you have to go somewhere, I don't know, the training, something. Give it 2 hours. All right. And take something with you for your future, for your journey, in your journey actually. So, anyway, this is for me an occasion. This is my second trip. First trip was after a near-death experience, 2015 in the Himalayas. We often get this actually the way Bhante explained. I'm not all the time in the Himalayas, not all the time in the temple. Okay, I have quality time in the Himalayas and quality time in the temple. I would say like that. Okay, that's the truth. So I would say myself is a more solitary monk, or I can't say jungle or anywhere. I try to cut my connections externally, as well as for me to develop my internal disconnection. So that's how I live even in Sri Lanka. It's not here only I'm able to talk with the people who have to take me here and there. I'm helpless. I can't just come out of the flight and then sort of walk to this place. So I would like to share that time when I came, I faced this near-death experience. But many years back, people invited me to come to States. And that time as a young monk, I told them, when I'm an Arahant, I will come. I meant it, I don't care. Actually, what I meant was when I'm completely perfect, that I will come. Because why should I come there when I still see mistakes and faults in my thoughts? So, what happened? I kept on practicing, and then came to a point where one time in 2015, actually, I had this near-death experience when I had, you normally get this altitude sickness, but this time I felt I would not make it. And but anyway, I made it. So after that, and when I was about to, or someone said that, did you see your body from outside or something? I told them I didn't die that much. But of course, I knew that, I was breathless. My body was getting slowly weak, and like, how long to go on like that? I don't know if you know that area, Mansarovar Lake. There's a lake, one of the biggest lake in the Himalayas, 98 kilometers circumference. So there, it's like Western Tibet is very rugged, no facilities, no emergency, not even to find a doctor, even just a local doctor. You know that area. I think you all are from where? From India? Or
I am from.
which part?
Well, I was born in Bombay, but I have been in the Himalayas,
Okay.
Rishikesh.
So, in that this thing, I faced a cut short that part of the story, but anyway, I came to a point where I knew I would not make it. So we have a practice already for long years. We have practiced some things I know for many years when I was even a young boy, which first inspired me. Because my search for what is going on in this world, so I was interested in physics and all other different religions and trying to make a world picture out of it. So I came to some certain, I jumped here and there, okay? I think you have listened to my teachings before. I don't know whether it's a defect or whether it's a. So, anyway, I will cover one important point. So, this. At that time also, I want to make this, I'm interested in physics, especially theory of relativity. It gave me some proof about the other worlds, actually the other dimensions or other living existence. So those things I use because time dilation doesn't have you heard about it? I don't know that near the speed of light, the time can be stretched or it slows down. So I happen to connect with my some of the other books regarding the heavens, the description of heavens, like 1,000 years on Earth is one day there, such weeks, such this cosmology. So it looks so it's real then. So it's a big story. I really focused on that and used that. Okay, I was able to connect that those beings are powerful. So use that to pass my exams. Okay, those days I didn't study anything. So like predicting, all right, it worked, all right. So based on that only, I had other experiences later on, at the age of 18, for the impermanence. So this is the one really triggered my journey, and I came to Sri Lanka. I met my teacher. I did search for Monk 21. I met to my grandma. We met him, and he brought me to the suttas. He told me to read, ask my experience, and then he told me, you read this suttas, everything will be okay. That's how the journey started. Then when I read the original suttas, do you know when I say sutta? Anyone know or doesn't know? Sutta is the Buddha's original words that came in Pali. And any scholar knows that, the modern scholars, according to science of languages or whatever, it was well established that it is the oldest language and it's the Buddha's original language when he was alive historically. So this suttas my teacher referred to, and I took already by that time I had a habit of not theoretically getting that. It was practice. So applying it, that's an important thing. We are going to get an idea now. So with that application, that applying thing was there. That's how we started. That's what I already knew all these things. So when I've been practicing, we had some basically experiences where I had to stay with my teacher finally later on for longer periods in solitude with him. So when I faced this near-death experience at Manipur, we have in practice. We already accomplishing that. We look at ourselves from like outside in a objective way as body, feeling, perceptions, and so on. What we are made up of. Okay, we are made up of body, and then we have feeling, perception, and so on. It's a part of factor of consciousness. I'm talking about because today in the modern world, still it's a mystery. They're writing a lot of books, a lot of ideas about consciousness. I feel sorry sometimes. It's good, it's okay. But anyway, in the ancient, especially in the Eastern philosophies, it's already established consciousness is something separate from the body. Body is used as a means for it to rise. Okay, body can never, consciousness is using body as a means to arise. Cannot arise without a body. So, but it is not in the body. So that's very important. If you try to search that way, to go on, you have a good project for 5-6 years, and you have good salary and existence. Kinds of families. Okay, never been said. So Deepak Chopra is the closest person I know in the Western world. Who has nice name. Deepak Chopra, anyone know? So explain this, or we put people into certain familiarity regarding consciousness. All right, but it's a big topic. All right, because this is coming from ancient Hindu, well-known. This thing is connected with all the karma, how it arises, the type of consciousness you get. So anyway, my mind is going from, like, it's a complicated movie, all right? Don't worry about it. So at the near-death experience there, I prepared myself with this, observing myself. Before that, another thought came. I couldn't give enough to the people, and can't help it now. Next life, I will do it. So it's kind of a regret, and anyway, I then overcome this. It's a long story how I managed to survive. Anyway, then I realized I've overdone this practice. I should have shared something on the way. So that's what made me, without being fully enlightened, to come and try and teach others. That's the one that gave me the impulse. Then it worked out in 2017. And there also I touched a little, I don't know whether how many of you were there, even in another place, I can't remember. The program Sacramento, I think, I don't know. Anyway, did you come? Anyway, 7 years back, so then I gave in a very fast way, generally about what will block your path. Because my path is not like just getting some knowledge, how to make it a personal experience in you. So it's good to meet me or to have a connection or to have this exposure to really want to experience this. What are the blessings of that? Some people ask me when they're going all these forest and especially Sri Lanka meditation, right? They ask what stage of enlightenment you're reaching. Okay, I think the more Western, they are more, I would say, courteous and I think respectful not to ask this question. So in actually this kind of enlightenment thing, of course, my teacher has told us already how what to do. We should not even tell to ourselves, even if we get some clarity or something. This is not something we should continue our practice. We should just learn to continue our practice. And if we get some clarity, we could call it clarity. If we get some peace, we will not call it dhyana. We got samadhi, or we get a good meditation, not even samadhi. All right. This is the best way, a healthy way. So our teachers, they guided us through this. So if I stop, I will lose the flow. Okay. Yeah, this happens to me very often. Give me a few minutes. All right. I give you two words. One is talking, giving knowledge. It's a very different word. And then another one, not thinking at all. So you have to mix. So if you, as I told you, if you want to really experience, it's good. So that time I was giving knowledge, but now it's not much big difference. That how to change your lifestyle, which is going in the modern day, which is going to block you to realize this. And because if it doesn't become a realized knowledge, we have a law called karma, and there's a bigger purpose of this practice. It's not just practicing for being peaceful and so on. One is to be fearless, of course, be peaceful without any stress, tension, having a wonderful, peaceful life in the moment, and facing death without fear. That's another one. That's the main one. So as I told you, they will ask me this question, what I have attained. I can't tell, how to make, it's not, there's no one to tell. Even though today there's so many telling them this and that, and it's not my way of this thing. I can tell, if I look back to my own practice, I would say, whatever I have done, these practices, I can face death, better. If I can practice more, I'm sure I can, really So if someone comes to kill me, I think it's the best thing I have done. And also now giving the teachings like this in a more systematic way, even the regret I had last time, yeah, that also will be gone now. Okay. So really, I would say this is what for you all also. So even young people are here, quite a lot of them. I heard some of them have gone to a glimpse or something today. I think so. Anyway, so what you get from this is you will not fear about your exams. One is when you're facing exams, otherwise when the results come. Okay. So when you do well, don't do like that. I was like that. Actually, my teacher was a little upset that I didn't care how the results came. But these fears will go away because you will be mentally strong, mentally stable, and so on. So this is the then this is one occasion. Then this time I happened to come again. It is an extension of that. 2 years back, Corona, everything happened, and 2 years ago, another experience came to me in a very interesting way. I have this connection with this, some karma with Hindu yogis who have developed samadhi. Samadhi, that's some karma I have in my previous life. So they happen to be around me, even so it doesn't matter. I like them because that helps me to keep myself pure and also keep my sila. That has definitely helped those connections or those habits. So, and definitely if I use for the Dhamma, it can be very useful. So this kind of connection, this kind of meeting happened 2 years back. This was now even in India, even in other parts of the world, people are losing faith in the power of monks. They are having, they don't feel inspired actually. Materialism has taken over so much. And also other powers like, maybe wealth, maybe some status. That's what even ourselves also have gone behind. Not the spiritual power, not the mental power, spiritual power, mystical power, mainly. So in India also, it's like that. We call them Babas. Okay, Baba means like a sadhu, like a monk or sadhu, an ascetic. There is different type of ascetics in India. It is like a vast land of different types of traditions. So these people also around recently, time to time, even in the midst of all this, there will be some rising, some doing the inspiration again as time, as if the time of olden times. So such persons, one person, actually one of my assistant, he Capricorn, who is the oldest assistant who helped me in India, he told me, Swami, Bante, there's one Baba, you should go and meet. The reason is my assistant, he always is an Indian person, Hindu, okay, who is to help me deal with money. So he always wanted me with my meditation, his dream, that I do some magic. Okay, he's like a different type of person. So this particular monk, according to him, he's doing some kind of magic. Magic means he will tell your personal details and everything. Like he will call lakhs of people with different problems, compassion, and he has like a board. Okay, I don't know. I hope you are not guess who he is. Okay, because the YouTube is so much. This board thing can give you a big clue to find out. Anyway, he has a board diary. He called the people by their name or person, maybe telephone number. He tried to call this person. And when they come and they sit down, he would, he writes something. And he writes and then he says, why do you come? What's the problem? And then he says this problem, that problem, some cancer, this problem, something. And then he has written the problem and then also a solution. So it become very famous for this all over. Poor people, rich people, ministers, everybody's coming, all the suffering human beings. So it's like Muslims, Christians, it's all common. They know So this my assistant told me to go and I did not, before I happened to go sometime, but now I don't want to meet anyone. I'm not very interested. But something urged me to go. So I went there. When I went there, he was not there. A lot of people, but the village is also very, I feel the energy is so connected. It's a mountain, very remote area, a village area. And there I made a certain, actually I was also, I didn't know how it operated. Someone told me you just, I thought there's some reception and some place where I could, get some contact and go and meet him maybe next time. They said just pray to that mountain there, then you'll meet. Actually, it's so. So what happened? Anyway, I just had a certain wish before I left. Meet some good friends on the path, who will give me some support. I had this thought actually be very deep in me. And then next trip also, I went another trip. It's a very coincidence. He was in the same flight. He also had gone for some tours of programs and he was there. It's small flight to a small village, small area. So there are a lot of other people also there, and then when I was going, like the vehicle was going from the airport with this Taraj, and he saw me and he called me. He said, "Are you going to that place?" I don't know the name, right? I said yes, and then he told his people, bring his sadhu. And then I had already arranged my transport and he went straight to his home because he found and when we went there, thousands of people already knowing he's there. He took me to his home and he did the same thing to me. We had some few people and he said, I want to meet with you and send them all. And he did that and so anyway, I met him several times very easily. I don't have any way of, I don't keep addresses or this thing, but it's funny. We happen to bump into each other almost any time he's there. I want to meet him when he's a lot of trouble. So he told me the reason for that. The previous birth, we were like brother monks. We were like brother monks in this type of meditation, yogic way. So anyway, one day he came, your practice is not enough. He didn't say practice, he said not enough. Like 2 o'clock in the morning. So there's no day and night that people are waiting to meet him, and then suddenly he came at about 2 o'clock. And he told me, he came to me straight all the time, he used to meet me. And he said, I said, what is his English is also not, this thing. Now my English also gone, because long time speaking Sinhalese, one time, but doesn't matter, hopefully something is left for me to speak with you. Because for Sri Lankan crowd, long time, anyway, that's my karma to meet certain group of people. So later he said, I will explain. And then when we went to his private thing, he told me, we expect you can do more meditation. You can do more power, more practice. That's why not that you're not enough, but we want to encourage you. That's why we told them. So then I went back. You know something? In my life, like when I became a monk, I happened to live a tough life. Not by force, by choice. Okay, I like the ascetic way. My teacher was so, and he also, felt so inclined to his way. So when I became a monk, it's like walking and on arms round, and like miles and miles, thousands sometimes I have gone through LTT and all this. So anyway, this life, getting wet, getting dry. So I have, and also I have to deal with some tough brother monks. Okay, tough means maybe my karma initially. So I was a young monk. My teacher gave me all this thing to do things, and they didn't want to listen to me. So I had to take them on a commando journey. So then they have some respect. So anyway, those days it was very interesting. And I had to use more samadhi, to be honest. So there are 2 types of meditation, mainly samadhi when I say samadhi, concentration meditation, and the other one is analyzing. Okay, wisdom meditation, I would call it. So, when I was a young boy, and until then, until this ordination and all this change of lifestyle, I was, doing this, analyzing, contemplation from the sutras. This is not from my own analysis. This happened when I did physics and all this in the initial stages. And when I met my teacher, when I got the sutras, then we know how to apply it. It's only practical life. I can apply it. If someone comes shouting, I would be able to. There are experiences I share sometimes where like my MBA hunting and she came shouting. How I read the Mahastipada Sutta, the great footprints in the Sutta. How that exercise have to be done before, where you begin to see the emptiness that all what you are made out of, like the body, feeling, perception, especially the body, which is made out of the 5 elements. That when you separate, separate mentally, you see them as you separate them. Like what is inside our body in this space and what is outside, any hard nature is taken like that. It's nature-wise the same. Liquid nature, if we have like the blood and the water in the tap, if you look at it mentally, that's an exercise. You have to develop to see the real things as they are. So that's where the thinking, analyzing means actually focusing or reflecting to see, to be aware of the truth. You can't see it actually. It's a kind of you become, you know it. You begin to know in that way of attention. Okay, so that's the kind of where you. So then, what happens is that your idea of self as this body that will go away. So that has to be done separately for some time. And that's where when you are doing that, the wisdom mind is to work. Normally, it doesn't work now. It's in the frontal cortex. So that when we have that kind of that I have to be worked, practiced separately. So I happen to do this practice separately. Then what if I stop? So there are these 2 types of meditation separately. It's very important. So this practice I happen to neglect. All right, as a young boy. So when somebody shouted also those days, I remember history. It's not that just pretending. No. It's that you have this clarity so much, or you are focused with that Dhamma, that becomes just a sound and not you. Then, if you have that level of this thing, you're not making new karma. When it's your husband or wife, there are people telling me when the husband is scolded, they were able to apply like that. So actually, people will stop scolding you because when they don't see an inner reaction, so this has to be practically done. All right, it's not just so. This is not really full clarity. When you have tried like that, there are very, very strong moments of more deeper clarity. That is something I will tell you how to get there, where you have to clear your brain more and make the mind more steady and stable. There you might have something more divine or intuitive experiences where you might even touch what Buddha wants you to touch as an experience. So these 2 practices are neglected. But this practice, especially thinking, analyzing, and contemplating, and reading the sutras and applying after ordination is diminished. But of course, what I've already practiced was already there. When there was in a crisis, for example, I was in jungle one time, going from jungle to jungle, and my whole body was damaged, or you could say, there's poisonous leaves that I've been touching. So that created fever, and then I was found by some robbers. So when they arrested me, kept me there, if I didn't find them, you would not see. This one occasion, I lost my life 2004, from forest to forest. So that time also, when we have normally the practice of samadhi to suppress this pain, concentration, but when you have a lot of pain, you can't get samadhi. That's why that is so unreliable. When you're dying and you have pain, if you only develop samadhi or concentration, that might let you down. But if you have practiced analyzing, contemplating, you can face the pain itself and analyze, contemplate. Okay, so that's practice I did in the forest at that time. When they looked after me, I wanted to make my mind peaceful. And at that time, I used actually Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, the no self sutta, to observe myself and then keep myself at peace. All right. So then after, as a monk, when I went on like this, it's a narration and some teaching. Okay. So then the samadhi increased more and not the step. All right. Reading of the suttas also became less and less. So then when this yogi told me not enough, I did same. I did more samadhi again. Little bit I tried to do because I take the books to Himalayas even before, like Samyutta Nikaya and all this. I knew what to do, what to read. But 1 page, 2 page, I happened to go to samadhi again. Because it makes you wait for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You feel tired. So then finally, I brought this. Then when this yogi told me, I went and practiced more. And again, only 1 page, 2 page, maybe I read. I went back again. Like far away, he saw me and like I thought it's like X-ray or something. I asked him, how is my practice? So he looked at me and first he asked me, when did I come? And then I said, morning. And I asked, how can I practice? He looked at me and said something. I knew it's not because, as he said, I will explain to you in the room, in the night. You meet me there. So before that time when it was 50% only have gone to there. According to their divine eye, whatever they see within our with the type of positive energy or positive kusala karma, or kusala, they think how much we have developed, we saw still 50%. So before that was it only 50%. And this time again, no, nothing, no development. It's wondering, I've done this so much. Then you know what, in the night when he met, he said, told me, your samadhi is good. And but you're analyzing meditation. He is saying analyzing, but he said, no me meditation. No me meditation is not enough. Then I understood immediately. No me meditation means anatta, no self. Okay, and it comes from, so you can know and have developed this practice, this particular thing, and it's not been, developed or it's not been practiced enough. And then he told me this is the highest meditation. If you practice this, he said, he encouraged me, we have to search for you. Like that, he really encouraged me at that time. It was 2 years ago, 2003. And then what happened, I knew this I must really stop this samadhi thing. I must really force myself. Then I went in Sri Lanka to one jungle. And in the jungle, I happened to practice, read the suttas again. And with the suttas, I happened to read the sutta forcefully. Now reading and like I didn't even do it in such a way that I would analyze, contemplate like before, but I kept just read fast. And we have my teacher used to tell those days when they especially meeting monks. When I say my teacher, who inspired me when I'm a monk today, is a German monk. I don't know if you're familiar. That I was inspired by one German ascetic monk. It's called Dhamma Mahatera. He was not known in society very much, and there are some few. Maybe now there are people are getting actually the internal practice because he used to encourage whenever he met monks, he used to tell them, you have if you want to attain attainment, read the Kanda Salayatana Vada. See the Samyutta Nikaya, many suttas that made monks arhan. There's a special section called Kanda Vada, Salayatana Vada. Okay, so he has an order where he gave and how to do it. So now I am giving it to all people, not for monks or it's not anyone because anyone who has the potential or this thing to attain this. We all want, that's the main thing. Buddha's teaching is not for getting cured from a disease or something. or getting to samadhi. It's actually attaining, I don't know if you have heard about Sotapanna, stream entrance to Nibbana. Okay, so this is the main things. If this is not happening, it's like a hospital. The main operations are not happening. Some Panadol and maybe some small tablets are being given. No, it's the main operation of our defilements, our consciousness, and they have to be activated. They have to be practiced and brought in, and there has to be transformation of people. People should become transformed. For more shiny people, at least not with long face. This group is very good. I don't know. But sometimes even in Sri Lanka these days, when I see the crowds, they are in a sort of a little bit because they may have to struggle a little more as well. So he told me about this know me meditation. All right. He told me. Then I understood what he meant. Then I went and read in a forest in Sri Lanka, that place. Forced myself, and I didn't do it like those days, contemplating, applying. I just read fast. Right? When I went back, just reading fast, some things little understood, some things, it's very repetitive. Okay? And the Varga means entire section, like one sutta is 1 page. And that made one person arahant, like this. So, arahant, by the term, they became completely enlightened. So, then I went and I met again 80%. And I knew, oh, I'm on the right track. Okay. So I went back in Sri Lanka, and there's another section called Salayatana Varga. And I went fast, went back 120%. So then only it gave me inspiration to, I must give this to the people. And there was an ashram that had been built, was being built for a long time, and so it became functional. And I started immediately the training of, like 5 days and 10 days, but maybe 5 days is something I was forced to make because you can't do it in 5 days actually. But I have mixed it with what those people told and what will happen in your brain, according to my belief in what they're telling is true. Okay, that you'll be definitely going out of the retreat. Again, I'll be promoting the retreat now. Okay. Please, can't help it. I'm in that kind of mission now. All right. So, so when they leave out 5 days after, they will definitely get something. That means that will increase their. Is there any baby also can read? Like even so we know normally even the chanting of Pali has cured cancer and all that. I have many experience of that, and I also sometimes in some ways people come to me with so many different unsolved problems. So there is that power in that, but getting the meaning out of it will remove the cause of your problem or the defilements to bring wisdom out. This is the main one, how to use the suttas as the original time for the enlightenment, how it's applied, and actually not reading so much so fast. They are a way of contemplating, especially walking meditation is something I teach a little, not little bit, quite a bit in the 5-day also. And then I have to force them to read fast also because I know that they'll be getting something if they do that. So, but that is a very unique one. Now, one of the gentlemen told me also to organize it. But if you can explain that, because people are reading suttas everywhere. But how to there's Sati Sambojjhanga, have you heard? Dhamma Vidya Bojjhanga. How to be in the present moment and then to empty your mind. That is one practice you have to develop separately. And then to have the analyzing, contemplating of the Dhamma. So this is something we have to do because we are now in the society. If you have ever done meditation, in the society it's very popular. The techniques, which is from Burma, I don't know about Thailand, but mainly from Burma, even Goenkaji's, I would say that has really served a lot for so many in the whole world. So there are technique that is good, that will help you practically to get somewhere. But we have made the Buddha's teaching a technique, Buddha's original teaching. It's like so many techniques. These techniques are also brought from there. Okay, there's so many techniques. So, taking the original Buddhist teaching, according to my understanding, from that only you get the right level of wisdom. Okay, so some of the technique base I feel, it's my personal, I don't want to tell it as a definite this thing. I feel the wisdom is not enough because it is, observation is closer to the physical gross body or gross sensation. Okay, so it's easily observed and easily practiced, but closer to the body means closer to the hindrances. You know the hindrances? You know, sensual desire, anger, which is actually this reptilian brain. All right. So when the reptilian brain, for sex or for food, when they are the most, you could see where it's active. So that's why so many rules are given. This thing to slowly bring your brain where the frontal cortex can work really sharp and strong. So, so this is very important. Where this is enhanced separately, you know, and then you don't try to understand the Buddha's words. It should just become apparent. That's how it should be, you know, read. And there are visions in those words. In those, like, you know, you have a vision, the vision of understanding that can come. It might just look an explanation like Sabbe Sankara Anicchati or something like that, you know, just one word like that. The ability to ponder on it and to just be with that other thing, that one has to separately increase or develop. So this is something. This is something that I actually I would like to, like, you know, main thing that I wanted to give. So in the retreat we started like that, 5 days, and then 10 days. Whoever wants to do that, at least 15 days is necessary. So sometimes I have this very interesting situation. Now people have heard I've been to Himalaya, this, that. Some come. Once I remember in one of the retreats, one gentleman was there. I knew he was not focusing on anything. He was like looking at me and, you know, like moving around and not really in the mood. So I happen to do the program and I normally go. I don't interact too much with anyone. So in that situation, one day, finally after about 2-3 programs, program is two, 3 meeting sessions. He finally, when I was leaving, he gave me a letter. So I took the letter and I went. Then he has written Bante. I was very disappointed in my stay here because I thought you will call me and explain my about 9 lives back. You'll explain where I was born and, you know, I want to know that and what will be my future. And like that, he, you know, like tells so many things. And his experience also in Himalaya, like in the monasteries, he had been here and there. But he doesn't know. Of course, that my other brother, I would say Yogi, he goes and does that and he gives some solution. But this retreat, I see 7 lives karma, I think not only 7 lives, they're all clearing. The medicine is given immediately. If they really do this and go, not waiting what karma you did, not waiting this thing, already it's a clearing process is given in all that. Because wisdom is awakened, awareness is awakened, and our karma is now said written in our form. Okay. In India, and I think I don't know how much experience you have. In Rishikesh, he passed away recently. In some of the lines here, you know, it shows your periods of your time, life. Like, you know, and he actually have told me there are times where he told me, at this time, Bante, not Bante to call me, Swamiji, you will not have time to even come to Rishikesh. And so 2017, when I was going all over, I remember him. Oh, so actually they see karma. They have that. See, in India, it's written in the forehead. Okay, the forehead only you have the ability to change your karma by awakening awareness, especially the wisdom mind. The wisdom mind. The moment you're reading and applying, you're changing how you're reacting with anger, greed, and your perception is changed. So the way you react will also be changed. Okay. So anyway, after that, only I started all that. Now I went to story part. That's very important part I must touch. Regarding consciousness, because we have like Panchupada five, we call it like what we are made up of. All right, we have a body and we have a consciousness. In the consciousness, we have what the Buddha explained. We have certain factors in the consciousness. One is feeling, other one is perception, and other one is what we perceive, the way we react. That's called sankhara. Okay. If we react only in thought, it will become mind sankhara. If we speak with that, it's called word sankhara. And if we act, it becomes body sankhara. Okay, for these things only we get the idea of, we call it, we get the sense of who we are. We think this is me. All right. To think air, we don't get the idea of I. Actually, I is an idea. It doesn't exist really. All right. So when we really dissect or analyze or look into what's happening, then only we begin to be noticing that. All right. That's where self-realization comes, because to know there's no self is that realization. Okay. So anyway, before that, I must tell you all, before I explain this part, even about karma, you must be aware of it. How many of you think there's law of karma? How many of you think there's no law of karma? Or who are not sure? Not sure. You see, some of you seem to answer all three. Okay, doesn't matter. Right. So, if anyone doesn't believe, I don't tell anyone to believe this also. But without making research and more thorough, because I know many who are in the Western world, actually, I think most of you are here, I feel are who have lost strong karma from the previous lives, even in this part of the world, to be drawn to Buddhism, to be drawn to Buddha's teaching. There's a big, more stronger than the ones who are locally or in Sri Lanka or Thailand, but there's like my teacher, for example, he was from Germany, and Louis Body was from Germany. He had that driving force towards him. He did the practice to the end of his life. So karma is a very important thing for you to, for many people I tell, if they have some doubt or anything, to sort of read this book called Edgar Cayce. Have you heard of Edgar Cayce? Many Mentions. It's a very nice book. It's about case studies. He was called the Miracle Man of Virginia because he used to diagnose people far away who had diseases and incurable diseases. He used to even administer poison, and it worked. All right, so he used to go into an unconscious state, and then he used to explain. So he also don't know. One time, this word came karma. And then it came that, like something that person had done during the Crusaders time. That how this is happening right now. Even very interesting, I won so many case studies. There are some of my hedonistic classmates who have read this book and they just got a thought, I must become a monk. They were very bad classmates actually, partying all the time. But for some reason, they happened to get hold of this book, at least the thought. But I think they messed up too much with their life. That even they wish like that is not easy. That are karma, that's another problem. So they try to escape, but some friends and other things will come back and take them in the other way. So in this one story, I remember, just in New York or somewhere, there's one lady who she was very spiritual, as well as the way she earned her living was by showing her for advertisements her beautiful hand and ornaments and all that advertisement, jewelry. So what happened to see, the reason she's so spiritual was that many lives back, she has been a nun. That was the reason. And the reason she got that beautiful hand was she cleaned in the nunnery or whatever place, she cleaned the toilets with so much faith without any gas feeling, So I can just imagine, yeah. So like this, there are so many stories about, it's very good to get an idea. Sometimes you kept things in your mind, like not spoken out, but not even, but inside you have been resenting and so on. How that manifests. So it's very, very nice, very good because it very clearly gives some feeling about Sankara. In the Paticca it does condition, condition thing, condition things. The karma is very, you can get a picture very more tangible way, or more vivid, or more clear way. So I want you to have this knowledge also. It's no point otherwise, because regarding consciousness, karma, these things go together. This is like I told these people, it's kind of the technology of consciousness. And these things you have to know the building blocks, and then your thinking goes around where how this works. So consciousness and rebirth also is connected. Consciousness is the way you can explain rebirth, as well as how the karma also explains rebirth. All right. So before I go to these other topics, I want to tell you now to realize this truth as a personal experience. You have to improve your intuitive ability. That means you have to clear your mind. Like it is said, like if you have water and you have dye in the water, can you see your reflection? Like if you are of sensuality in your sensual thoughts, you can't see your face, the reflection. If the water is bubbling, if the boiling, then also you can't see. So if you anger, irritation, that's how it's taken as the hindrances. All right. So if your mind is free from hindrances, you will, you see exactly there. That's why I tell you must do that separately in your life. Clear your mind and keep it bright. And separately, you must read the Buddha's teaching. Don't try to understand the teaching. Like your face, with all the, this dye or boiling water, you try to look at it, you will see some reflection, but it's not a real experience of seeing final actual as it is. But if it's really clear, that sight will be very clear. You are not struggling. Same way, those words of the Buddha. That's why he waited actually. The Buddha gave to see the people and their mind, and they waited until they were mature. Then only he revealed some of these teachings. Then immediately, so we don't have like that, but at least we have those teachings where it can happen to us if we properly keep on patiently applying those things for some time. Okay. So before I want to give you an idea, I normally tell people should, you could say that do their work without getting tired. Actually, I really like to ask some questions from you all, and it will entertain me also a little bit. This is all so boring for me, like program after program. Let me try to finish this, okay, and then offer some questions. One, two. So the very important thing I want to tell is I will just give you an explanation of the consciousness. All right, how far you have known up till now. How to recognize? You have a dead body normally, or unconscious body. Okay, so you're unconscious. Then you have this just the body, the flesh body. Okay, how do you know when you have consciousness? You see, the consciousness, one main thing that you know that you're conscious is when you start to feel. Okay. And perceive, of course, as feeling, then perception automatically follows. Perceive and then you react. You say someone hit you, you become unconscious. How do you know you become conscious? When you're conscious, slowly, maybe you open your eyes slightly, you feel, you recognize the person, and maybe you want to punch him or you want to run away. Right? That's called reaction. Okay, if you only think, it will be mind reaction. If you verbalize, go away. Or if you do it verbally, you'll be reacting, and if physically you try to move away, it will be physical reaction. So this type of reaction with anger or with attachment is becomes karma. Okay, if you only think, it will become mind karma. If you do verbally, it will become word karma. It will actually to become body karma. So in the entire case, in this case study is very interesting. How the way they have thought in the past also, very interesting how you have a peculiar relationship with things, with your family, sometimes with office, working places. This will be very interesting. Long years ago, I read it, but I tell people to go through that because that's very important for them to get they want to become enlightened and to get a full within them. This is background right view to know rebirth, to know about karma. This is basic knowledge, but it's not to blindly believe. This is some way to by inference, you can know this does happen. So in consciousness, we can take slow motion also. You have the ear and an object, say sound waves. So these two are material, all right? So initially, when these two are there, there's something, say something happen, all right? So there's normally, it's called manasikara or reflection, attention. This attention, the ear and the sound. These three coming together, it has to mean when they come together, if they're really connected, then there's this feeling, a sensation. And there's something that measures that sensation as present, unpresent, and neutral. That is called perception. The sensation is called feeling. The measuring the sensation is called perception. If we perceive as present, there's something that happens in the mind, in the consciousness, reacting with greed. It's unpleasant with hate. And if it is neutral, if you just wait without fully aware what is going on, it will be delusion. So this greed, hate, delusion reaction is karma. Okay? I'm giving some heavy stuff, okay, but I'm trying to familiarize because not so heavy. I'm trying to make you think that will make you enlightened one day. You have been thinking so many things, your subjects, physics, chemistry, biology, economics, business management, this, that, engineering. Okay, why not think this now? This will give you inner peace and it will bring you final stop to your search for everything. Okay, I don't regret I didn't complete my university degree, or I also neglected the job I did. One time I thought if I neglected this, I would have regretted. Definitely. So because it is unfulfilling, even my parents, my father, pursuing all that, I say finally he has to come to really appreciate these things and keep on. So anyway, this consciousness, so now you have some idea. You have the body, is what a Buddha is, he doesn't see, look at it in terms of atoms or neutrons or anything. They look at it in terms of the elements, hard natures, watery nature, like that. All right, heat, temperature, and then so these four elements, air, and so on, movement. So these are the four elements how the Buddha looked. For one purpose, you see that what is outside with that nature and what is in this space, there's no difference. So that way your attachment and ego will be lost or reduced. He has a purpose in his wisdom because he knows he wants to remove the suffering in your lives. So suffering is mainly due to attachment, craving. And with craving, there is that ego, sense of I arise. So when craving decreases, I also decrease altogether. There are some of my, like I would say, my taxi driver in Sri Lanka, auto rickshaw, it's a Tamil boy. Sometimes he talks with the, that tuk-tuk. Tuk-tuk? You have here? In America? In Indonesia, everywhere you have that. Tuk-tuk. All right. So he talks with that. So actually, he's so attached to his vehicle, he made an identity out of it. So this can happen, how the identity comes with attachment. Okay, more stronger, like especially to your family, it's more stronger. You feel that body, this shape is that person. Because that's my mom, that's my father. So the attachment. So it's very important that you find this body is made out of that, and then you have the consciousness, feeling, perception, and so on. Okay. There's one book was given to me by one professor in LA. So anyway, he's also studying a lot about consciousness. I finished studying consciousness, so I'm trying to realize whatever I realized again more. It's like it's more trying to relate all these many books written. It's good. It's still trying to relate it to the body, very much to the body. That is still arising. It's how if it is only understood the where you can perceive from the body, then one is ready to accept. That will never go happen. It's like you can't ever know consciousness that way. It's through wisdom you can know about consciousness, and you will know some. There are times I know in my own practice, there are some glimpses of it that like my consciousness is only me. You can't experience it. It's like we are separate two worlds. And you get that idea due to karma now. We also now, we are just passing by, even your family, all these things you are thinking, we are there together. No, as long as karma is there, you are having that, vicinity of, being connected or able to experience each other. But otherwise, it's just you are going alone in this universe. Okay? Do you feel that? You can get some idea about it. So anyway, so this is very important. So normally I will come to this very deep one. I will then try to go into something more interesting. This is very interesting but very heavy. Normally my teacher explains to me when I am very peaceful. But I am making it familiar to you all so that the type of thinking you must be doing when you read the original teachings, what you'll be analyzing, that will make you familiar already. So that is like a small sample. That one, because that's my purpose for you to go to the Buddha's teaching one day. I will get it to your bedside, start, and then learn to analyze the teaching, the Dhamma. That will bring the right, slowly try to bring the Yoniso Manasikara. Have you heard of Yoniso Manasikara? No. That's the main factor that will make you a stream entrant or glimpse Nibbana. Okay? That's Yoniso means from the source you learn to like intuitively. You learn to analyze, contemplate. Okay? So from the source of things, what is the original cause of things? Like that, you learn that type of analysis very unique, which makes you to get that intuitive vision or experience of the phenomena of life, where it will make you experience what Buddha wants you to Nibbana. All right. So, so one of the things when you do those exercises, when your brain starts to work in that direction, those faculties that are or faculties that are going to work in your brain, they're called enlightened faculties. Okay? So the first one is called mindfulness enlightenment. Okay? So that is, when you pay attention to the present moment and so on, they start to develop. And then the other one is Dhamma Vijaya. That's a very important one. It's called then analyzing the Dhamma. That is where now I'm going to explain something, how, when you think like that, you're beginning to analyze the Dhamma. It's not my teaching or something. There's an area where you must keep your thinking, which will bring that enlightening factor. So when you're doing that, you might see some clarity there, you might become enlightened. That's what we must get to. So here, just to give a background, this thing to explain this. When we die, have you heard that we have a last thought? And then we have another thing, the last, what we have? Last breath. Okay, the last breath, and then a last thought. You all want to make our last thought good. Okay, that's why we make preach and everybody doing everything during the whole life. And then the last moment we want to pass the exam. Anyway, to the so unknown mystery of death. Okay. My teacher gives a very shorter way of explaining this just to make me familiar, but anyway, I need to more elaborate. So normally, even to this program for you all to come, did you hear from somebody? How many days back? One. A week ago. Okay. So when you heard, what did you feel? Suddenly you felt like coming or what? Yeah, okay. So what happened? Why? Is there other people who heard and they didn't feel like coming, or there are some friends or family people? Maybe, okay. So this is karma that you hear. Okay? You hear something, it's karma. The urge to come is a desire you have. So you have some karma with me. Okay. So the karma in the sense, not in the negative sense, I hope not. So it is that karmic process. So you have to see me more now sometimes so that you first heard and you get the urge to go. Maybe you heard something about Himalaya, this and that. So you felt like, oh, maybe I can get something from this monk. So anyway, these are two things that has to be there for something to, just to give an idea. So when death happens also, you don't get a last thought just by your choice. Okay? Based on the karma you have to read on, okay? That object will come. Okay? And then you will feel distracted because you have that desiring nature still. These two go together, then you get focused. So another important thing you must know that the consciousness to arise, it needs conditions. We just now told it needs an object, it needs an ear, and then, for example, then you have to focus. So that focusing, and because of desire we have, and we focus like that, so then it connects, consciousness arises. Last moment also, there's a moment of consciousness. Okay. So now, what karma you have accumulated mostly, like as a lay person, normally what is your main area? Your family is the main area, and your working place is another main area. Okay? These are the places where we normally interact. All right, unless we are developing some special meditation where we can really be detached from these areas, that's another thing I will tell you. Okay, but normally we feel attracted to some way, a good boss, a good colleague, or we feel repelled by an angry boss, an angry colleague, or very jealous colleagues, or whatever. So in the family also, like that, we react to attachment, and so we make karma in the sensual world. Okay. So the time, if we have only lived like that normally, it's possibility we will get a thought related to what that type of karma will accumulate. So it is most probably you might remember our mother or a friend or a very close interaction. That becomes an object for consciousness to arise. Okay, because the thing and then the karma, and then karma means we still have nature to react. So with this present, we react, that means attention, then the conditions are there for consciousness, so consciousness will arise. So if we have sufficient, there are so many other things, I'm making very simple, because in the rebirth process, sometimes people have not supporting good karma to give a clear rebirth. So then they are remaining in a kind of, so there are situations where, I don't know if they have, if you do research about this, you find that like you have like they call it interim, but I call it it's another rebirth itself. It's not so now normally you're seeing several wounds in that plane of after death. So you see a mother want to do begin to go there. It's like burning. Then you see a kind of heat. You feel heat. You feel uncomfortable. Then you see maybe elephant or dogs, beach, the boom, you feel easily comfortable. You get it? Some idea of karma makes you, like, so it's comfortable for the person. The rebirth happens like that. So, but in this life, we are assuming now someone who has done some good deeds and he's, so the last moment he will get the thought like that in the sensual world. Okay? So when the last breath goes, do you think such a person will be able to look at the last breath as it goes away, or he will be distracted by a thought like that? What do you think, the normal person? Do you think it happens to you? No, don't say yes, like I want you to think and what do you think? Sorry.
So if that person is sick, I'm not too sure whether he can.
Okay.
Yeah.
You may say he's not sick.
Yeah.
And he's dying. you look at it in these terms, two things. He has karma first, and he has deciding nature. Alright, he's unenlightened. So in such a case, what do you think he'll be distracted, or he can really keep his attention to the last word? Okay. So that means there are conditions for consciousness or not? There will be conditions for consciousness. Let's keep it simple. That's good. So then, say, have you heard about anagami, the non-returner? The non-returner means a stage of sainthood, where no karma in the sensual world, no desires in the sensual world, the five sense world. So the last moment, actually, so such a person, when he dies, he has to go to another world and complete. That's why it's called, but he doesn't come to this plane. So it's called non-returner. So such a person, such a saint, when the last breath goes, do you think you can focus, or do you think you'll be distracted by that? Sorry? Just look at it. Do you think he's completely free from desires and karma? What do you think? What? No. Okay. What karma he has and what desires he has? Okay. He has no desire for the sensual world. But does he have desire for any other feelings? Peaceful feeling, okay? Pleasant feeling. And he has karma in the Brahma Loka. Okay?
Oh, he's not but he still has desire.
Yeah. So, but the rebirth process, just to have an idea how it happens. So he has how the consciousness works. Just have an idea. He has desire for feelings, peaceful feeling, and he has karma in that direction. So he gets distracted. So what happened? He's distracted to a feeling means the condition for consciousness is there or not? In consciousness will arise, right? So think of the fully enlightened being who has no desires for anything whatsoever. Okay? Just think it happens to you. And when the last breath is going, you have no karma, no desires whatsoever. Will you be able to keep to the last breath? Just imagine if you just kept like that. Will there be conditions for consciousness? And my teacher is to warn me after he explains this is deep. And I also warn you is deep. Okay? It can be realized. So this thinking is how it works, the conditioned nature. So one day if you happen to read contemplate the Buddha's teachings, you don't read. Okay. In the books, what is recorded, this will help you to think. Learn how to think. Because not to think too much, to break down too much, like explanations given, or even this speech and all that is, don't go to this. I'm telling you to go directly to the Buddha's teaching. Okay, there you learn. Initially it's difficult because it doesn't digest. You like me more than the Buddha, because I digest easily. Buddha is 2,600 years ago. This is how I felt when I was in Jakarta. When I had some glimpses or I would say some clarity, I realized, oh my God, like 2,500 years ago, that Buddha, and now he's different Buddhism. So I felt real. As a young boy with my teacher. Then I knew we need to be brainwashed, from all this conditioning of ideas and all that to originally touch that wisdom. Okay, so this is actual experience of my own life as a young yogi. I didn't know I'd go so fast, to become one man. But in that time, it's so very clear. So I hope. So now we come. Actually, what I said now in the beginning, I'm coming to tell you the end, and we go for questions. All right. I hope the train is not going to go now. Some people are come far away. Normally, I give something before I go. Small thing from my heart. All right. But if you can stay, if you're not going, just come to the window and or tell that, because I don't want anyone of you to miss anything. Anyway, normally I tell about, how to do things without being tired. That's very important. You have to change your lifestyle. So what is distracting you and, addictions, you have to work on. It's no point, all this talk and all this listening, all this reading, or coming, if you don't change your life, because my purpose is also that you all become enlightened. There's no point otherwise. Because you are going to face death, you are going to face old age. In such a time, you should be able to, really blissfully experience these realities. Now, just now today, I told one of my who dropped me. I told him, you will leave everything which is dying, and leave everything which is dying. You might not die. If you don't associate what dies or what decays, in this life itself, you'll be watching death. You will not be dead. I hope that will happen to all of you. Okay? Make sure as a human being we can pursue that. While we are living also, we'll be able to watch your own bodies, our feelings from outside if you train more and more on that. Okay? So normally I tell people, they have to be very careful in the modern time. The main sensual things are very disturbance to this practice. To have a sharp mind, to get wisdom mind. So today I see the main distraction, I don't know if they're right, the phone. The phone connects you so much to the external world, the sense world, than more than us, but when we were in those days. So, of course, for practical reasons, you have to use it for maybe GPS and all that other thing, but it's so addictive, it can just take your time. And I have noticed that, so much dopamine is the thing. So even through YouTube and all these other, this thing, that's why we can spend more time longer and we don't want to read and so on. Okay? So that is going to really practical damage if you want to get that wisdom as a personal experience. It's not going to happen to you. So you have to, recognize it, and people who have developed even material, you find that they have some discipline. I've got to know that, they have a good lifestyle, at least early morning when they get up, they don't sleep so late, or, they have a routine, and they have learned to empty their mind, even, I don't know if it's consciously or unconsciously. Some of the billionaires and maybe successful, I got to know that, they, when they get up, they don't just get up from the bed. They just stay for some time and sort of think of the things very important for them to do that day. So actually they rewire their thing. It's a big exercise. It seems very simple. Otherwise, what we do is normally tomorrow, but procrastination. So this to break that way, these things we have to do. If you have this kind of thing and read the Dhamma, try to practice, try to be enlightened, I don't think it becomes practical. And I don't want you to fail. I don't want you all to one day regret, oh, this birth, I wish I achieved this. Okay? So make sure that whatever life, some are dead now, some I have been, for long periods. So whatever I could give, I gave them. Anyway, so this is very important, I hope, and I got to know that short videos, that the doom scrolling, am I right? This was tick, 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 So because you're more attracted to small, short videos because there's more dopamine in them. So you have to be really at games, or you have to tell, like the suicide cases, how the spirit world gets open. I told before programs how addictions and to open up some negative destinies in you. Those days I explain a lot about it, so people get an idea. So this week you are going to be very careful. And if children, I think 18 until 18, at least the parents must be, they should be supervised. They must, for their studies, they might have to use. So at least for if they have to take to school, where they cannot not operate any other thing except for that you have to put some locks or whatever. Otherwise your duty is not performed properly, and expose them to spiritual things. I hope spiritual things can become more. I normally see my programs like rock concert. That's what I want to make, so that positive energies are brought in, and automatically, people get a push start towards their spiritual journey. Okay, so that is very important. I explained, I remember one little girl, small girl. The mother wanted me to meet her. Actually, I know her from small age. She was a very special being. I know already her birth was very special. Like someone I would say would go on the spiritual path one day in a very special way. But such people, such small children, they have their dark times, dark periods. So she had such a time, and the mother wanted me to meet her. And when she was coming to meet me, the mother asked, "Daughter, have you taken a bath?" I was wondering why she asked that. And later on, she came and told me because she was actually sent to all these actually they are very poor people in Sri Lanka. But the father was thinking very high, not because of their needs. So send this girl to these international schools. And in those schools, like one of the sleepover, she happened to go, in the wrong way. And after that, it triggered sleepovers and all that because the parents don't know anything about this thing, so they think it's all very good. And I am very happy she's very polished and good English and can communicate well. But they didn't know that there's a darker side in these international schools or in Western civilization. So anyway, so what happened? She actually she happened got addicted with the phone. She told me everything. She didn't tell anybody. Told Bhante, I used to use this phone, and then I can't tell you here who can guess. She happened to see what is not suitable to be seen at that age. And then recently, she was getting a smell around her of, poo or feces. So that's why the mother also knows about it. That's why she has asked whether she took a bath before she came. Even she takes a bath, it doesn't go away. I can understand what it is because it opens up those dimensions and those beings. We have the tales also when we are practicing virtue, when you are practicing discipline and having pure thoughts, you have an order of scent going from your body, okay, to the Brahma, to the higher realms. So it should happen the other way also. If you have negative emotions activated too much, though you have a human body, your brain is working in a very strong, what do you call it? And if you have bad karma destiny, if they settle down, then you have a very rebellious. There are all of these people that are behind this physical force. Also, karma is there. That's why they're exposed to spiritual things. It's likely they are protected, as well as if they have these things, this might be very fast. This is very important. So this is just to show the danger, damage, and just to be aware of it. And the other thing I want to talk about is like whenever you have a emotion or a thought, or especially you say anger or like a negative emotion, you have heard of adrenaline? Hormone is created in your body. Okay? So now it's adrenaline hormone. What does it do? It makes you have those thoughts again. All right. So there's an interrelation between the thought you got and the body, the chemistry you are experiencing, and then it creates that thought again, like that. Okay. So one of my teachers, or one of my another teacher, he passed away. We used to a little bit explain this. So if you have if you do some spiritual things or be peaceful, and actually now normally a strong emotion, one of the emotions are sexual urge. And then for food, of course, for drugs and all that is another thing. So there are substances that are created in our body with that, which makes us, like compulsory have these thoughts again. So now, the teacher is to tell that if you have to a certain extent created dispassionate thoughts, wisdom thoughts, okay, and devotional thoughts, then also something should happen in your adrenaline, something should be created. He named it that time minus adrenaline. Okay. But I got a name that time called Ojas. I don't know if you heard this term, Ojas Tejas. Easy to know all the Ayurvedic this thing. It's actually related to when you're developing spiritual things. So actually spiritual means you could say related to faith, concentration of the mind, strengthening of the mind. Ojas is created. That's also something that goes to your brain, travels towards the brain and opens up areas of the brain which were not open before. And then get deposited. And then they create those good thoughts, positive thoughts, energetic thoughts in you. So later on, it becomes easier. And your body begins to change. And wisdom, especially when you're reading and contemplating, one very specific thing is created. I don't know what Tejas. More potent than Ojas. So it shows in your aura. The aura has a very clear aura, as well as your skin begin to shine. Then I tell people, don't need to use Nivea. No, I was really surprised in one of the pharmacy recently because I was sick. I don't know whether you all know, for 4 months I was suffering the viral thing, and just I'm recovering to strength enough to give speech like this. You know, I came here. Don't worry, the virus is gone. Okay? so what happened? In the pharmacy, I saw collagen, no, malai. I saw that it shines the skin, strengthens the nails, hair. I was wondering what this is because I have only one way by good character, and if you create this physical. Then I realized there's some cream or something for this. Anyway. So anyway, it doesn't matter, but I can imagine it could be like my finance controller. When I was doing auditing, this lady, those days I had a practice of not looking at any ladies, like one of the meditation practices when I'm walking and so on, as a layman, right, many years back. So I had to look at my finance controller. If she's coming, she's one of my bosses. So, and I remember I used to be very observant. Just lipstick and everything, but looks so dead. It's like some plastic this thing you put on this thing. Really can see no aura, no life. And I can imagine what she's up to. So those days I used to notice this. So I'm just trying to tell you all, good character, it will create shining skin. So I normally when ojas goes too much, a lot, it creates a shine in your cheeks and forehead. So don't lose that shine. You may have black skin, white skin, brown skin, whatever, but you have that charming attraction. So that comes with character. Even how much you take bath or whatever you do, it won't clear like that. So, but if you build up, so you have baby skin also. Okay? I'm telling you some now. I'm sure this the critics telling Bhante is promoting confidence. So baby skin means soft skin. You don't look like a rough person. You understand? You do rough things, you become rough. Some exceptions are there. They're looking smooth people who are doing great crime. Very, but generally I'm talking. To encourage you all to be more beautiful. Alright, so but if you do like that, that's very important to remove all your additions and be careful. And daily when you start, early morning you must have a routine where you make yourself empty with compassion meditation or and with that, or anapanasati. And when you go out, you must know a main meditation, which is called Indriya Samvara, where you don't look at the details. Okay, you're careful what the inputs you go put through your senses. That will reduce your monkey mind. Alright? And when you're driving to feel the seat, this is mindfulness parts you have to develop. And feel the steering wheel. If you really do these things, and improve those attention, that means you learn to bring your attention to the moment more. Okay? Then the stress mind will definitely reduce and you will have a wonderful time living. Peace will start to enter your mind, in your activities. Alright? So I think this is not because you're busy or this thing. You're not mastering these practices. So you live a wholesome life, in this life. So the other side is you will not be tired when you're working. That means mentally you are able to keep it in the present moment and so on, and not unnecessarily stimulate where anger, greed, and all these things will come if you keep your senses too much, open, unnecessary. So what you need just to perform your duty, you learn to look, like if you're crossing, you learn to see the vehicles, but you don't see who's inside the vehicle. All right, like this example. This is a very big sealer. It's called, it's said monks practice. Actually, it's called Kotyak Saman. It's infinity number of sealer monks supposed to practice. Is this the sensors? They don't look at details actually. Now I can look at you, but I see your detail. I look at you from a sideline, no details. Just an example. So this as a yogi, because this will help you. That is one practice. The other one is present moment awareness. That is when you're walking, just pay attention to just the ground, what you're immediately seeing. Don't put too much thinking to things, what you're going to do after some time. Your mind will run because you're not trained to do like that. So you remind again to just look at the simple things. If you go again, just remind again. Then you will get the art, you are properly, that will help you to have peace and your mind will not be tired. Yeah, you perform well when you come to the actual thing next to be done. Your faculties will be sharper to do things. Okay, but that is important. You must develop if you want to, and then read these books. And in the morning with the metta meditation and anapanasati, then reading. Just put an analyzing meditation into it, so that maybe an angry boss or angry other something happens, and you apply and see what you have seen from that. You go for the questions, okay? Please. Anyone question? Or is there here? One of them. Did I come to your place first? I don't know. Which one? I stayed in that kuti, or we have visited just for a few hours?
Yes, we visited for a few hours at Mahadevi Monastery, and then we went to Aranyavadi meditation.
One night and stay? Okay. If you remember your thing, I will tell you. Oh, I have everything.
Sorry, what?
Okay, yeah. You are great, this part of the world, it's like the strong hammer with the for sure. And yeah, I remember I made several of them. I gave a small thing. Any questions? I don't know. I can help you.
I have one question. Okay, if you come to the point that you already control the anger thoughts, you mean the anger inside of you, you are being calmed down. What is the next step from that?
That's a long way ahead. So you can't, the anger, tell you honestly, from the age of 18, from the experience I had, as I told you regarding these insights, I think I would have been a world monk striving many years before life, and the results came this life. So after that, actually anger was not there, I would say. And later on, sensual desire I had struggled with, very much. And even as a monk, later on, also it just came behind me. Now maybe I'm now old and it's okay. But I'm not going to be relaxing in anything. I can see you have this wisdom and everything continuously. But this anger thing, I remember, it was really right. Then it came to a point like maybe say 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. If I say maximum 8 years back, maybe, that I would count the countable times that mentally I know I felt that tight, And it was mostly with taxi drivers in India. They would spend this week or something, and just press my button. And I still count the few. It's not in India all, even Sri Lanka. I have come with the taxi driver. So that happened. And actually, tell you honestly, recently I'm having too much activity. Too much activity means I definitely keep my general meditation, because my activity is related with sharing what I'm experiencing. Or I can't go without the meditation or what I'm doing. This I'm doing as a duty part, but anyway, I'm being with a lot of activity. And also I've been suffering from this while hunting and so on. So, like someone who are close to the thing, if they did some, especially I felt they were honest or did something, the thing, I have reacted. It didn't happen, so I think it's more of a tired mind. It has happened. So it will not go, I think, the removing of anger is not by compassion, I see, from those days. It is by desire. Desire is, and what is the root of desire is illusion. Okay? So this wisdom, more got into this wisdom, and the wisdom become more experiential, then I'm sure this will go automatically. So don't mustn't worry in other ways how to remove the symptoms of the problem. So really, I think we should put these things more the perceptions of say more I'd say Dhamma, Yunisomatika, and practice more, then the clarity of Dhamma more comes. You open up another world of wisdom, then this will go. I will give it the answer. It's okay.
It's very much good. So I need to go focus on drama to improve myself.
And you can also watch what you attach to. That's the reason the cause is always somewhere you're expecting or something like that. And you can know specifically a certain like you will not get angry or this thing. You can't say one is free from it. You'll be free from it when you're free from attachment. So it will be there in the latent nature. Now I could see that it came in my thing. Now it's a little bit, I'm more than uncountable into that in my thoughts and.
You mean if you're free from anger, you will free from attachment automatically.
Sorry.
You mean if you're free from anger, you will free from attachment?
No. Sorry, you are free from attachment for the anger to disappear. Attachment is the cause of anger actually. Normally we think anger is so we have compassion and trying to know. If you reduce your attachment, the way the person gets angry, we can know the person's attachment.
Yes, sir.
So the attachments, how to remove them? It is from removing our illusion. More awareness, realization of the truths of the Dhamma, and getting the Dhamma perceptions of about the ultimate nature of things. That is, I think, that will look after everything. So reading for the good company, Buddha's company.
Yes.
And not only reading, I have never found actually, to be honest, I don't want to make places. I was really thinking somewhere I find that they will see the power of this book as it is. I mean, the Buddha's original teaching, that it has no need explanation, that they are taken as meditation object. So this is how we did it with my teacher, he to tell us we did this sutta. And then we went and practiced. And when we went through that, that made an impact. That means those words gave us insights while we were walking and taking. Then we actually respected our teacher, but we knew that master is like ocean, he's alive. So I think this must happen. You must have like a session of meditating, that is emptying your mind with compassion or other something, and then a session of reading in your daily practice. And also some mindful activity, maybe arms round to the hall or something like that. Like that, if you have a balanced practice, I think. Because now other problem I noticed that in the old times, my teachers to tell some monks, especially some desires they could overcome. And they sort of blame the places there and so on. There's something wrong with here, and they started moving from place to place. Actually, very senior monks those days. So he was a young monk. It was in 1950s and so on. Island Hermitage, we know. Island Hermitage in Sri Lanka. It was in that place. So those monks, they happened to, but he told that they also had a lot of problem issues with desire, which was not, and they didn't know how to deal with it. So he told us this balanced practice where you have to have periods where you're sweating, and if some activity, nobody can sit for long. It's not general for everybody to just sit in one thing all day. So to have that practice and then reading, not the reading as a study, as applying and then walking meditation, contemplating that. And then sitting meditation where you have, where you do samadhi with compassion or anapanasati. Like that if you do, definitely something should happen.
That's what I did on Anapanasati.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That's good.
But I like the suggestion of breathing. If can give me more Dhamma, more knowledge.
Okay, I tell you honestly, I don't have personal experience through anapanasati of getting, but reading the sutta, especially like Kanda, Salayata, Nidana, Samhita, and then in the walking meditation, that's what I'm promoting, I'm trying to do, which I know very clearly how could be done. And so that's something how the walking meditation, especially, can be done, used for contemplating. That's what I see people are not very familiar how to do it properly. Because when they come to walking meditation, they come to the feeling or like how the touch is happening and so on. So it's a very technique based, not the thinking of the Dhamma, the contemplative walking meditation. So this is something I'm trying to tell, because I think, according to my personal idea, that insights or qualities that come is not strong enough to reach what the Buddha wants you. This is so that thinking must be not, the thinking is not enough, or analyzing, contemplating is not enough. Somewhat contemplating too much also, that's another problem. So then you have to balance.
Thank you so much.
My answers are wrong.
I would like to ask, for example, like Bante just now you mentioned about you were in solitude practice for a long time. So recently, like you are more busy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Like recently, you are more busy
Recently.
teaching.
Yeah.
And also sickness. So my question is that
Sorry. Outside. Sorry.
so my question is that if compared to previously you were in solitude practice, then recently you're more busy to having shared your knowledge and experience to the public. What happened, for example, like you have perhaps like this year, you were tied with the schedule that have to share with the public, and you have no time for your routine sitting meditation. So do you think like if whole year it happened in that way, you do not have time for your private practice?
You see an angry mom.
But will it affect to maintain the spirituality, like what you have progressed up to that level in your solitude, and would it decrease?
Yeah, I'll tell you. You should never be in the expense of your normal. When I'm coming here, I'll meditate. After I leave you, I'll be meditating. I'll not hang around. Organizers know. And then they have to wait. I also don't know which time I'll come out of my room. Because until that basic practices I do, like there are like early mornings and afternoons, and I'll be definitely doing. No single day that it will not happen. And I'm also not a speech actor. Unfortunately, I have to get into a kind of a Dhamma discourse type of, because with the modern day what's happening, I tell many people, I'm not a Dhamma preacher. We are yogis. So it's a different transmission of things. So definitely it's, no, never. It can never happen like that. But I would be doing the general meditation. Even it's maybe if I get a room or something, be there. And then doing those things, then coming out and doing the other part. So that more than what I speak, maybe if I come like this, very exhausted, this doesn't make sense, So I know until I put on my makeup. So this is important, I think. Because this is fulfilling a late thing, I would say. My teacher told me long years back, so waiting for the time, I was waiting for the time. Even though my teacher said I was cautious, and so now I feel very everything because I fulfill. Sometimes some people say, I'm angry with, I don't know, with anger or jealousy, I don't know what, but they better you go to jungle or something like that. I said, too much I stayed in the jungle, too much I stayed in the Himalaya. It's too much, and but never in the experience. You have to really see now the ones who are training now, who are this thing, just like the way I went, no preaching, no teaching, nothing. They continue because I'm also, I would support them. I'm not going to bind with them in an ongoing time, but if they want to get advice from me, I'm encouraging them because to develop. I would expect actually monks who are spiritually developed. We don't find any monks today like that. They are giving preachings and all that, but there's no mysticism in them. There's no pure force going out of. So they are, I don't see they themselves won't be liberated or they can't liberate others. So I think at least if you have some monks or nuns or whoever practicing, that they are just focusing on themselves, and then they will see when the calling is there for them for doing some duty, and then as a fulfilling of the duty, you can get externally involved. But you must be very careful, honestly clear, sort of finding the real, to say, whether it's a real duty or if there's something you're, like yourself, something like, you have to be careful with that. You get the right terms if you're sincere on it, what you want to do.
I put this question to Bante. It's not only not asking Bante about your cell schedule, but it's online where like first year I was in the meditation center for like a year that I could every day just do intensive meditation. But like this year I visited the US, so the schedule is different and it becomes like totally different because you are not playing your own schedule. And you couldn't like have arrange a time. Okay, what time like I can have these few hours for the practice, like usual do meditation, but the schedule is very different. So if it happens to somebody like that, you cannot cannot manage your own time where the schedule is arranged by other, perhaps. Then if it's come to a long time, like happen for a year, we did apply for the practice.
How long have you been on?
Oh, yeah.
So now you must go full speed. So there are times where your life comes, our destiny comes, where we can't avoid some activity may come. We have to, then in that situation, keep your sila, very important. Keep the sila. So, and see when I quickly be free from this to do the practice. And take it with a positive, if you really have to, with a positive thing, maybe there are things you have to develop within you, facing that situation. And also really focus to not 1 year, 2 years, some months or something. And then, like sometimes you might not get the blessings or support to do the next step. Then just focus on your practice and accept the reality there. Unless that situation where you are making a seal, you have to ask nobody, you can change that externally. But otherwise, it's good to change within you to then the big meditation as you have achieved, where you are able to stay where places where you don't like, or you don't really, it's not the way you really wish for yourself. But don't allow it to go long, if you're really sincere, things will work out around you, where you will be able to do, practice. They are both interrelated. Nothing is coming, all that is coming is helpful to you. So, because it's created by you. Your sankaras in the past, right? So, you have to use it. And if you're really determined and sincere, you get time very quickly to work out. That's very important. It's up to you actually. It's not that something outside is doing.
So,
Yes.
oh, sorry.
Is the anger excuse when there's dishonesty or like stealing in front of you? Like, is the anger excuse if there's
No,
stealing in
no,
front of
no, I don't think. I think I made a mistake. I think I must be, because you can be firm. You must be firm and you can be firm, but your anger is more worse than the stealing. I think. Yeah, sometimes I don't know, I never justify that the animal brain never working for any reason. It's an animal brain, right? Bacteria, we'll have to work for it, right? Both of us.
Can you explain how to do walking meditation? The way you
This is, you're really interested? You gotta join the retreat. I think you're interested. In case you don't meet me, I will show you with my teacher how we do it. Okay? You all want or how it is? Because you can't do it this now. I can't walk, right?
If you hold the thing, you can walk. But then if you
I feel you're really interested. So it's somewhere in the party, but in English you will that will become idea. I've never done a program like this, okay? Please, so this thing because there's something. Also, we can get up like this. Whatever has happened in the past is finished. The future has not arisen yet. Okay? So it's put the chance Atikam Patina done. Past is gone. Another the future has not come. Pachupan Nichidam Yesu, that is the very best. So whatever has come to the present moment, that you pay attention. Okay? So you see your body standing, right? Kayam Ananta Adino, Avaso, Sabbaroga, Lakshana. The body is full of affliction, Adino, Sabbaroga, full of diseases. Much visualize and think about it. Okay? Though you are not having maybe something is there, some infection is there. Always it's full of that. Then Gathe Chitte Bhasite Tuni Bahe Sampradana Kaya. When you're walking, talking, moving, be mindful of the body. These are instructions of the Buddha. Okay? So when you're taking the first steps, doing the walking posture. Gachanto, Gachami. While you're walking, you can see just your feet there in the ground. And Ahara Sambudam Kaya. Then you analyze how this body has come by food. Aharam Anichan Dukhanam. Kaya Anichan Dukhanam. So the food is impermanent, suffering not yours. The body is impermanent, suffering not yours. Sapasankara Anichan Dukhanam. These are all conditioned things. That means consciousness depends on the body. It also has to be permanent, suffering. This is the contemplative part. Okay? Santakayo, Santavajo, Santava, Santavahito, Vantaloka Muslimiko. These are some inspiration and words how the monks are in the olden times, just to give you some while you're walking. Then Avijja Pachya Sankara. Ignorance is the cause of Sankara. Sankara Pachya Vijnana. Vijnana Pachya Jati. Consciousness is the cause for my teachers to jump into rebirth. Okay? Jati, birth. So you're picturing the Dhamma in your mind. Alright? Jati Pachya Jara Marana Soka Bhagya. When you're born like that, you will have great sickness and death. Sabbe Sankara Anicca. All all sankhara aside. Yada pannaya passa. You see this with wisdom. Atanibindati dukkhe. If you have an intuitive experience, you will feel dispassionate like a shock. Esamago is that's the way to purity. It's Buddha's words. So when you have Dhamma vision, avijja nirodha, your ignorance will be diminishing or becoming absent. Avijja nirodha sankhara nirodha. Then your reaction, karma forming reaction, will not be there. Sankhara nirodha, vijnana nirodha. Then the rising of consciousness also will, the cause of it is diminishing, so consciousness also will start to disappear. When there's no consciousness arising, jati, birth, rebirth, jara, old age, death, all that will be disappear. Etam santan, etam panitam, sabba sankara sabba, patisa, pannakayo, virago. So, stilling all the conditioning forms, getting still, completely stillness, overcoming all craving and attachment. This is the highest place. Sankhara paramadukam, nibbana paramansukam. Sankharas are highest suffering, formations, condition. Nibbana, tilling of that is the highest place. You can endure walking meditation. Just an example, you can, whatever you read, you can contemplate. You can make your own walking meditation. Okay, this is found with my teacher. I used to like to go with him, hold his hand. That's very. So he used to tell me these are objects of meditation. If you get very absorbed in this thing, you will experience nirvana. Alright? So I don't know why maybe these are yogis here, I don't know. I'm very glad you asked a question. I can't, if you are very interested. I also can do, read it and then try it out, get something. Any more questions?
Even tentatively advise for the beginner of the meditation practitioner, what is the best method that we can control our mental life while doing the
Okay. I told about the phone, right? So for things you can start with that, right? Actually, I talk about other things in the previous program about celibacy also, which is not a normal topic touched by me. So I told now by this time when I'm coming in this program, people should have overcome that. But then some of the organizers told me 7 years Bante, they are living in such a materialistic world. I can understand the practicality because I used to talk about that because I don't know how to say this, but anyway, in the Western world, it's well practiced. There are a lot of people who practice it. It's called no-fap. I don't know whether you have heard no-fap, NOFAPP in YouTube and all that you'll find. So I think these things should be practiced from the age of 13, 14. Because these are not just to become a monk only, just to become a human being and become a possibility to evolve. People have, unfortunately, it's not known, it was not taught to us also. We have to struggle, and as young people, when I was those days and in international schools those days, I actually saved myself due to shyness in that regard. Otherwise, I would have messed up my things also those days. And dopamine detox in YouTube, you can check also. That's very important. Okay, dopamine detox under these things. And find more things about it, about the phone, the damage. The blue screen, I got to know. It's affecting the pineal gland. Serotonin, serotonin in the pineal gland. So which helps you to focus and so on. So there are the scientific findings. So because it must be very convincing to you to really discipline yourself. Otherwise, if you don't see the danger in that, really damaging, harming thing will not feel like determined to really take a stop to that. Okay, that is very important. And start reading the teachings. That's the start of your meditation. The map. With the map, the treasure map, Dhamma treasure. You get some books. I don't know where you can get these books, and I hope you can do like that. And be careful how you use these other devices. And start and then see how you're changing after 3 days, 1 week. Should notice and feel the well-being mentally. And get into a group also. That's very important. Don't keep yourself alone. How defective the group may be doesn't matter unless it's really bad. But otherwise, the group can help you to protect, especially when you're in this kind of environment. Like even coming like this to temples and any other, if there's something better, try to pursue, go and join them.
So for a lay person, because all the distractions, sexual busyness that you have, that ones have. So, what would be kind of the minimum? Yeah, because it's going to be because the billions of people around, billions of distractions that we have around, so much distractions. What would be the minimum? Yeah, kind of the guideline to help because not many people can go all day.
Yeah,
right. So how can we the minimum practice? Yeah, maybe we should have
try to get peacefulness in your normal day-to-day activities, like driving. Okay, start from early morning, like you brush your teeth, wash your face. So like that, learn to enter the fresh mind into them before starting your work. That must be a start. Okay, you must try. That also you must try tomorrow and try tomorrow. So at least when you're sleeping or when you get up, try to lie down and think, let me now try to start my early morning meditation. Okay, that's so while you're lying down, make that your kind of, and then maybe as soon as you get up, you properly do it, you start to do it. It seems a small exercise, but if you just get up, it's like you think tomorrow I'll try and I just do the work. Just try not to get up physically in the first few minutes after you wake up from sleep.
So how do you know you're progressing?
You shine more. You're shining already.
Every morning.
You will notice you get less angry. You notice also people will notice about you. So your surrounding will definitely notice.
I was thinking, I mean, for lay person, like you should have like a very modern practice.
You must make a start. You must make a start. And in your vehicle, I noticed in India, one place in a tram, not a metro. One person is looking from the phone. It was like 2 weeks back when I happened to see. He's looking some of the surahs from the Quran. And it's funny in English, it's about Joseph, which I got to. It's like a bodhisattva's life story. And after I got to know about the story, only I really quite a bit appreciated about Islam. Because otherwise, the Islam we know is not that very. So I felt just a bodhisattva, really. So he's looking at his life story, some verses. So when you are looking like that, the sensual world things are replaced by this perception. It's the right way. That's how you have to do. You have to, while you're driving, you're doing things, bring out something inspiring, so that your mind is kept in touch with that perception, and you will be clearing your karmas also while you're doing that. You can start.
In your experience, your practice experience, what is the middle way you practice? What is the middle way?
Middle way?
Yes.
The middle way I practice?
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Like what?
But you not make the new karma, but how to...
Not to make karma?
Yes.
Okay. So my main focus will be, how to keep my sila and mindfulness to get samadhi. Okay. So when I'm getting that samadhi or peacefulness or right sense of mind, then I feel I'm on the right track. So say I'm also doing those days a lot of walking. And you have the time to too long. So like my teacher was all his life too long. So I have to do that too. Not only the forest, even by normal, walking to travel. So there also, as long as I was able to keep the samadhi, or able to have samadhi while walking also, then I continue to do those things. So whatever practice that made sure that, as I said, this activity also, if I can't practice enough samadhi, you know what I mean samadhi? If I can't get to samadhi and I'm too busy and tired, like a corporate manager,